Episode 187, Zodiac Killer Case, SOS.
First, I want to state that I do believe that the murder of Cheri Jo Bates was committed by the Zodiac Killer. And this episode will focus on this theory that the murder of Cheri Jo Bates is connected to the Zodiac murders in the San Francisco Bay Area. And second, I feel like there's no way that this show, this channel, myself, will solve the Zodiac crimes unless they are connected, because I'm doing searches and I need to find my suspect in the Riverside area and that he moved to the Vallejo, San Francisco, Northern California area, because in my opinion, that will be compelling evidence if I can find a suspect that murdered Cheri Jo Bates and a suspect in the Northern California area, because that's too big of a coincidence. So the next 4 episodes are going to focus on the Cheri Jo Bates murder, culminating with an episode on the anniversary on October 30th, Sunday. And the episode will be created at the time of the murder, but it won't be published until probably 9 or 10 that night. The reasons the murders are connected are: 1. The Zodiac said so. 2. The writing in the Zodiac letters is very similar to, or in my opinion matches, the writing on the RCC desktop. Wednesday, on October 28th, 1970, Paul Avery, a writer for the San Francisco Chronicle, received this Halloween card from the Zodiac Killer. Avery, after receiving the Halloween card, wrote a newspaper article about receiving the card, and he got a lot of replies from the public. And one of the letters he received was from a gentleman in Riverside, California, who thought that the murder of Cheri Jo Bates was the work of Zodiac. Please forward the contents of this letter to the detective in charge of the Zodiac murder case. I hope this information will also help you, as we both would like to see this case solved. As for myself, I wish to remain anonymous, and I know that you will understand. A few years ago in Riverside, California, a young girl was murdered just about, I believe, on Halloween evening. I could write a much longer letter citing the similarities between Zodiac's case and this murder, which occurred in Riverside, but if the police department cannot see said comparative similarities between these two cases, then I will take a slow boat to China, even if these crimes were committed by 2 different people. I think after all the facts are studied regarding both these cases, if the police have not already investigated these possibilities and are not already aware of the Riverside case, then even so perhaps they should look into it. Letters to newspapers, similar erratic printing. Find out about these 2 different cases. Give Captain Cross a call on the phone. He knows that I do not quit. Mr. Avery, I will give you a call in the near future. Please look into this case. The Riverside police have a wealth of information. So does San Francisco. Let us hope they are not too proud to work together. And if they already are, let us hope there has been an exchange of information. On March 13th, 1971, on a Saturday, the Zodiac killer sent a letter to the Los Angeles Times, and he mailed it from Pleasanton, California. And you can see that's a long ways away from Los Angeles and a long ways away from Riverside.
This is the Zodiac speaking. Like I have always said, I am crack-proof. If the blue meanies are ever going to catch me, they had best get off their fat asses and do something, because the longer they fiddle and fart around, the more slaves I will collect for my afterlife. I do have to give them credit for stumbling across my Riverside activity, but they are only finding the easy ones. There are a hell of a lot more down there. The reason I'm writing to the Times is this: they don't bury me on the back pages like some of the others.
Okay, now let's take a look at the Zodiac's writing compared to the writing on the RCC desktop, the poem. At first, standing back and just looking at the center of the Zodiac letter and the center of the poem, the writing to me looks similar right off the bat, just the way it is. And then, if you compare certain words, and there's several that are the same, they look almost identical. In the Zodiac letter, about 6 or 7 lines down, it starts with if. And then if you look at the if in the poem, if read, both ifs look almost identical. And then if you look at the word this towards the bottom of in the second paragraph, or the bottom in the Zodiac letter, and compare that to the this in the poem, not only do the letters look the same, but the H is kind of lifted up higher than the other letters, just like in the desktop poem. And then the R and the H's, the R kind of has that weird looking kind of like check, and the H tails off with a little curve at the bottom of the H, which is the same in the Zodiac's letter. And then just the fact too that there's a lot of the same kind of style and writing with the same words in both of them. And as I pointed out in an earlier video, the G, like in the Zodiac's letter, annihilating, the G part, the tail part, doesn't finish. And in sick of living, the G cuts off. Same with the unwilling, the G, all the G's, spurting, dripping, spilling. The G just kind of doesn't complete the tail part. And in his regular cursive writing, not the title, his G's don't finish. Okay, now looking at the Zodiac's Halloween card compared to the envelope that the confession letter to the murder of Cheri Jo Bates was mailed in to the Daily Enterprise. Compare letters there. The D's, the E's. The E's look very similar. And there's several letters again that we can compare. The C's look a little different there. They're not identical. See, the thing with the Zodiac's lettering is he kind of changes it when he tries to write neat. And so it has a similar style, but not the same as when he's writing more naturally. But still, comparing these, there's a lot of similarity here. And my final point is this type confession letter that was inside that envelope has the term, "She squirmed and shook as I choked her, and her lips twitched," and twitched is misspelled. And the Zodiac used both of those words, squirmed and twitched, and misspelled twitched. Now on the next episode regarding the Zodiac Killer, next Saturday, I'm going to try to present as many names as I possibly can. Cheri Jo Bates' friends, her classmates, people that attended RCC, anybody that I can think of. Hopefully I can put out 10, 20, maybe 30 different names and see where we can go from there. Well, this ends this episode of Unsolved. And on the next episode, next weekend, on Friday, there'll be a show on the John Bonet case. And then on Saturday, a show on the Zodiac Killer case, focusing on Cheri Jo Bates, with a lot of detail and information that hasn't been put out there yet. So I'll see you next weekend.